Welcome to The Memoir, where host Bobby Goldie self-reflects on the chapters of her life. She's persevered through cancer, depression, addiction, adoption, poverty, and abuse. These are just a few obstacles she's battled through and is sharing her struggles and successes as a reminder we are not broken. We are just human. Now here's your host, Bobby Goldie.
Hey everybody, it's Bobby Goldie with The Memoir. Thanks for listening. I know there's a lot going on in this world right now, so I just want to ask you first, how are you? I want you to take a second and really think about that. How are you? I am obviously delayed with my next episode, and for a while I kept beating myself up about it. I keep thinking I'm committed to every 2 weeks, but you know what? Life is not on the same schedule as we're supposed to be sometimes. So I've decided I'm not beating myself up. Yeah, I'm delayed. I'm totally delayed. But life happens and I have to control it. So you get me now. Also, I do have some little bug going on, some little cold. So if I sound a little nasally or I, sniffle once in a while, heads up. You got to deal with it. It's just what I'm dealing with right now. So, and lastly, I'm going totally off script. I don't have any notes for this one. It's all just going to come from my heart. So if I sway a bit, please be understanding of that. And the reason I'm going off script and why this is happening all of a sudden is I just had a really, really intense, amazing conversation with somebody that I'm extremely close to, and they're going through a hard time. And right now, a lot of us are going through a hard time, which is part of the reason why I was delayed, because I'm going through a hard time. We all are. Even on the outside, when, social media makes it seem like we're all posting only the really great stuff. Usually, there's a lot going on in the background. So my conversation with this amazing person that was well over an hour, which nowadays, come on, how many of us have a phone conversation that's well over an hour? Usually it's text, maybe some FaceTimes, maybe some videos, but I at least for me, I guess, I could be living on an island. I have no clue sometimes because, I'm just managing, usually just managing. So it was a pretty amazing conversation. There were lots of highs and lots of lows, which is why it makes it an amazing conversation. There's a lot of vulnerability. And because of that conversation, I realized that the talk that her and I were having was probably something that a lot of us are dealing with right now, or thinking about, or needing to hear, or wanting to talk about. So instead of doing the podcast that I was going to do, I've totally switched it up, and I really want to talk about some of the things that her and I spoke about. And I think right now, with what's going on in our society and in this world globally, this is more important. And this is why I love my podcast, and I love being able to make it current or relevant if needed. So I think some of the things I've been thinking about right now are humanity, compassion, understanding, caring for others, and love. And I think because we're all going through so much right now, those things tend to slip our mind because we're all trying to manage through difficult times. And even outside of, what is going on with this virus, a lot of times there's a lot going on in the world or for us. And part of it, I think, is just the way we take in information nowadays. And I am very guilty of this. And part of it is that I feel I take in information like a fire hose. It's insane. There are 47 million 24 hours news channels, which, when I was a kid, there weren't. You got your news at like 6 a.m, 6 o'clock news, or maybe 5 o'clock news, and then maybe 10 o'clock news, and that was it. And so now we have 24-hour news. We have radio news. We have podcasts, we have videos, and then the infamous social media and online, article news as well. So our phone is dinging all the time, throwing information at us. And then when you're on social media, many of us are guilty of this, including myself. We read a post from somebody else and we copy and paste it, and we then share it with other people, and then they're taking it in, and it goes on and on and on. And all of a sudden, sometimes it doesn't all get copied and pasted the same way. Or we read one line and we take that one line, and now we're sharing more information that might not be completely factual. And we try to read things, unfortunately, that follow our mindset instead of information that maybe we could learn from, or it provides a different mindset. And I know I've been extremely guilty lately, which is why I have been taking in news from many sources that I typically don't. However, this goes back to what I'm doing right now is I'm taking information in via a fire hose, and it is stressing the crap out of me completely. And I think I'm not an expert. Can we just all be clear here? These thoughts and feelings and comments are my own. You don't have to agree with me, and I am not an expert, and I don't want you to take your life and run it in the way that I'm saying. I'm just telling you my perceptions, which I think are helpful sometimes. So I'm taking in all this information. I'm getting panic stricken, and I then make some decisions based off of all this information that's inundating me. I'm making financial decisions. I'm making personal decisions, and I am stressing myself out to the hilt, and I can't handle it anymore. And I catch myself being short. I catch myself being overwhelmed. And then for me, when I get completely overwhelmed, I get paralyzed. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I also lose compassion and understanding, which I hate. I hate that. And I don't want to be that person. People are saying that the media is responsible for all this, but we need to take ownership, right? I need to take ownership of my life. Yeah, the media is out there, but I can turn it off, right? I don't need to watch 24-hour news for 14 hours a day. I don't need to read 14 articles on politics. I don't need to follow social media posts that are all about news or politics. I could, and I should, because they sure do make me happier, follow posts about sweet animals. They're my favorite. They make me happy. They make me smile. They make my heart warm. So I, as a decent human being, need to take control, because I control my destination, nobody else. And I like to tell people, you can't control what people say or do to you, but you can absolutely control the outcome. So I need to control the outcome, because right now I can't handle what's going on, and it's stressing me out, and it's making me less compassionate. So I am going to try my hardest to put down the lecky. In the Goldie household, we call electronics leckies. So I'm going to put my lecky down for a little while, and I'm going to try to commit to myself that when I do pick it up, I am going to try to not follow or read a lot of information that I absolutely don't need at this time. There are things I do need just to be an informed citizen, but 25 years ago, people didn't need all this, so I need to balance it, and I'm going to do that. And then lastly, when I do pick up those leckies, I'm going to remind myself to be a decent, compassionate, loving, caring human. I definitely need to right now. And so that was part of our conversation. I'm digressing back to that conversation, which has got me to here. But also what I realized, and I have been really guilty of this, is humans are afraid to ask for help. We're afraid for a number of reasons. And the person I was having a conversation with is also afraid. And I shared with her, I'm afraid. But, and it's funny, she's going to laugh right now because I said you can't use the word but. Maybe there are certain times you should use the word but. But we do need to understand that we really have to ask for help, especially when we think, or let's take an example. There is, say, a mother, and she's a husband and she's a mother, and she's posting on social media and she's sharing pictures of her beautiful children and them going to the park and whatever it may be. But that same mother might be getting abused by her husband. Or it could be a father doing the same thing and the wife is cheating. We just don't know. So we as humans are looking at those posts saying their life is amazing. And so we don't think to ask. So that individual that's posting all that is putting up these amazing posts, hiding behind that and not ready to ask for help. So we think everything is great. For me, that person is drowning, is just barely making it, is just trying to survive, and they're trying to be strong and manage, because what they're thinking is, if I tell people that my life sucks, they're going to judge me. If I tell them I need help, they're going to think I'm weak. If I ask for help or tell them I'm going through a difficult time, I know Sheila is also going through a tough time. You know, she just went through cancer, or she just had to bury her parents, or whatever it may be. So I'm not going to ask for help because that person can't handle anymore. So we've just made 47 different assumptions. I think 47 is my magic number today, or in the 40s. Oh, I know why 47 is. I'm 47. I just had a birthday. Maybe that's it. Anyways, I think I'm trying to remember how old I am because my kids think I'm 37. So I'm trying, when somebody asks me how old I am, I always get it screwed up. Maybe that's just me helping myself. Anyways, there we go. See, this is what happens when you're off script. So that person, back to the 47, just made 47 different excuses or reasons why they shouldn't ask for help. Because of that, they've just closed themselves out, and they've just built up the stress and anxiety that they're dealing with much, much higher, because they've talked themselves out of getting help, and now they really feel like they're on an island. And I've done this. This has been the hardest thing for me, and I'm 47. It's been the hardest thing for me to learn, is that even if I am strong and I can get through anything, and I've survived a lot, that it's always better and always easier when I ask for help. It makes my life so much easier. It gives me strength that I didn't have. It gives me support that I didn't have. And whatever I'm going through, it's fixed quicker and easier. Is it a miraculous miracle? You just wave a wand, ask for help, and everything goes away? Absolutely not. That's just not how life works, and we would be foolish to think that. And do we think that once we ask for help, the other person takes on our burden completely? Absolutely not. But there are a lot of things that come out of asking for help. And also, usually the person you're asking for help gets something out of it, because I like to always go back that innately every single one of us is a good human being. And one of the things that makes our heart warm and makes us feel like we're needed and important is helping others. So right now, more than ever, while we're going through all of these weird, crazy, trying times for a myriad of reasons, it's really important for us not to sit on an island and not ask for help. And it's, I'm sitting here like I'm so freaking amazing and, I'm the best at this. I'm not. I'm telling you. Obviously, I'm not, because guess what? I didn't get my podcast done because I'm trying to manage on my own. And I am always worried that people are going to think, oh, Bobby, there's always something with you. There's always something. And unfortunately, there's always something with all of us, right? That's just how reality really is. So I am not perfect, and I'm far from it. And I'm still trying to learn every single day to ask for help. And our help can be totally different. When I found the lump under my arm this year, there were probably a very limited number of people that I reached out to ask for help. And for me, when I found that lump, the help that I asked for was different from every single person. Or I should say the help that I received from every single person was different. I shared it, and I asked for emotional help, but I got all kinds of different help that I didn't even know I needed. It was all needed, and who knew? But just the emotional support alone helped immensely. It really did. I felt like many people cared for me. Many people loved me. And I wasn't battling these crazy emotions all by myself. And it was very helpful. And that handful of people that I reached out to, did I have expectations from each of them? Absolutely not. And did I expect that each of them would give me an equal amount of support, whatever it may be? Absolutely not. My expectations weren't that at all. And people give what they can give. It's really important that you allow them to do that, which is something I was talking to this person about. If you need help and you're my friend, whoever you are out there, and you're not asking me for help because you're worried that I have too much going on, or that I'm stressed out, or I can't handle it, first of all, that's selfish, because you don't know that. And second of all, and most importantly, you do not get to choose how full my cup can be. I get to choose when my cup is full or how much I can handle. And you making an assumption isn't going to help things. I'm a grown human being. And if you come to me for help or support or whatever it may be, I can tell you, hey, I'm here for you. Here's what I can do. I can help you with X, and I can help you with Y. Unfortunately, Z right now isn't going to happen. Or Z's not going to happen for a myriad of reasons. Or Z can happen, but it's going to take a couple weeks. You need to just be patient with me, because I'm going to do my best to help you with X and Y. And I'm going to try my hardest to help you with Z, but it might take a little while. You need to give me a little time. And you would be surprised how often that could happen. So I get to manage then how I help you with X, Y, and Z. And I may come back and say, you know what? We need to reevaluate Z. I am so sorry, but I can't get to Z. Do you think the other person that just asked for that help is going to be upset about Z? Well, if they do, then maybe they got another issue. But most humans that are really afraid to ask for help, that actually asked for help and got X and Y, are going to feel so much better than before they asked. They're going to. Because before you asked, you were expecting nothing. And now you got 2 things you didn't even know you were going to get. I liken this to even, asking for a job or applying for something at school or whatever it may be. You're always afraid, if I do it, I'm going to get a no. Well, if you don't do it, guess what you got? A freaking no. The same freaking answer. And you know what else you got? Your brain is full of what ifs. What if I would have did this? What if I would have asked for that? So if you go for it and you don't get the answer you got, you're in the same place, but at least you know. And that's so much better. I know that's a little digression, but the point is you must allow yourself to be a human being and just ask. Because a majority of the time, especially right now, there's probably something that other person can do for you that's going to make things just a little bit easier. And that's really helpful. So I also want to talk about, I've talked about the people that need to be humble and not put themselves on an island and reach out for help, whatever it may be, with realistic expectations and how important that is. But now I want to go back to the people that looked at the social media post, that saw that those perfect images and comments and whatever they're doing seemed so freaking great. I, in the beginning of this podcast, asked you how you were doing. And we do this all the time. You come up to somebody you haven't seen in a while, friend, work, coworker, acquaintance, whatever, and you're like, hey, how you doing? And then they say, fine, or okay, or great. And they ask us the same question, and we respond pretty much with the same answer, and then we move on. So we don't ask how you're doing like we really mean it. And I have been, again, I'm not perfect, but every day, remember, my motto, be a better person than you were yesterday. So what I try to do is I try to pick up on cues. When I ask somebody how they're doing, if I ever hear the word okay or fine, I try to remind myself that those are not acceptable answers. Okay and fine is not great. It's not fabulous. It's not amazing. And there must be, maybe there's something, I should say, that person is going through. So when I hear the verbal cues, okay or fine, I will say, okay, why? Why are you just okay or fine? And some people don't want to share, and I totally respect that, and I get that. But there are many a times when I hear those responses, and they say, okay or fine, and I'm like, really? Just okay or fine? That's not good. What's going on? Are you sure? I don't want you to be okay or fine. I want you to be great. I want you to be amazing. And sometimes, and many times, we start talking and I learned something. And sometimes that conversation alone, where me being a good human being, just asking those questions and allowing that person to talk a little more and actually really meaning, how are you doing, goes a long way. And that helps that person. So when I ask you how you're doing, I really do mean it. Most of the time. Sometimes I'm just, a robot, like we all are, going a million miles a minute, and I don't mean it. But I'm trying my hardest to pick up on those verbal cues, because it's important for us to really care. Also, which is really important. And by the way, if you hear some weird grumbling in the background, I'm totally now just off track. That is my stomach growling. I forgot to eat and it's late. And so my stomach keeps growling. At least I'm not sneezing and coughing right now. So that's good. Oh my goodness. All right. So anyways, also right now, not only is it important for me, again, to tell people or ask people for help when I need it, but it's important for me right now to try to help people in a really small way or a big way, whatever I can do. We are First and foremost, we're all humans. We're not Americans. We're not Republicans. We're not Democrats. We're not cousins. We're not family. We're not brothers. We're not sisters, aunts, uncles, spouses. I don't know, whatever we are. We're not, Europeans. We are humans. And with what's going on, which is happening for a myriad of reasons, and I don't have any answers, I think it's a culmination of all kinds of stuff, which obviously none of us are smart enough to figure out because it's all happening and nobody can control it. And we all have our guesses. Remember, they're guesses. What we all can agree on is we're humans and this is really rough. So for us, we have to try to do our parts. We have to try to help in the smallest of ways, because if there's something we can do, even if it's small right now, I understand that like financially, a lot of people can't do big things, but words are free. Remember that, people. Words are free and they mean so much. And there is a time that those words could mean more than anything, even financial support. There can be somebody right now that is going through an extremely horrible time. It could be that their whole school got closed and they're financially just already barely making it. They're already struggling. They don't have any, sorry, I'm trying to be good. They don't have any money and they were already going through financial hardships. And it could be, or they were already going through a bad marriage, or they could be going through problems with their kids or whatever it may be, or a medical issue. And this could be the one thing, their kid's not going to school right now, and what that's doing to their family, that could tip them over the edge and they could take their lives, or they could be questioning it. So your words and your caring and compassionate reach out to them could be a big difference. So if you're thinking right now, I don't have anything else to give, my cup is full, I'm telling you to dig down deep inside and find some words, some compassionate, caring, loving words to give to somebody, to ask them if they really are okay. And what is going to happen is you can make all the difference to that person. But what's going to happen for yourself, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel a lot better, because I can tell you, when I have a conversation with somebody that's going through a hard time and we're talking and we're trying to get through whatever they're going through, and I feel like I've made a difference, I feel so much better in my heart, which is why I'm doing this podcast now. And I can also tell you, when I'm an asshole or a bleep hole, they might fix that. I'm just telling you, you might not hear that word. So I'm going to say bleep hole. And I have been recently on social media where I wasn't caring and compassionate. I felt awful. It hurt my heart to make somebody that I cared about, that I've been friends with forever, and was actually somebody, he didn't even know it, but he was somebody that made my life much, much better growing up. He has no clue what his friendship did for me. As my mother was beating the crap out of me, his friendship he had no clue probably that I was even getting beat the crap out of, but his friendship meant the world to me and it made me happy. And I made him feel bad and it really hurt my heart. And I let myself get low when I shouldn't have. I apologized and I felt like a piece of crap for a really long time. So I do know that being kind and asking people if they need help and being humble and compassionate really does make me feel much better than being a bleep hole to people. So I'm going to leave you with that. First of all, this was pretty long and again, completely off scripted. So I hope that you were able to follow it and I didn't get off track too much, and that this was worth something. I can tell you, just for my own sake, that I feel really good right now. So thank you for allowing me to go off script and just say what's in my heart right now, even if it was a little difficult to follow. And I appreciate that. And I hope that every single one of us can find a little love, compassion, and humanity in this world right now, and that we really can try to come together and support each other and take care of each other and not judge. We can't judge right now. We don't know what the heck is going on. This is bigger than all of us. And we can't judge people for their opinions or their comments because we don't know what they're going through. But we can be compassionate, caring, loving, giving humans, which is what we really all are. So with that, I shall leave you. And last but not least, which is even more important today, please try to be a better person than you were yesterday.
Thanks for listening to The Memoir. Let's work to remove the stigma of taboo topics. We only have on average 30,000 days on this earth, so let's make the best of our remaining days together. Get in touch with Bobby Goldie at BOBBIEGOLDIE.com and share your story.